Today it's a little weird, okay? It's my dad's birthday was this last month, and I've thought a lot about him. And he was a great dad. I in so many ways. Uh, he was the kind of man that would always treat people the way that he wanted to be treated, and he taught his boys, the three of us, from living the way he wasn't a don't cuss, but I'm going to cuss kind of guy, or don't lie, but I'm going to lie kind of guy. He lived what he taught, he lived in his own life. He taught through example of how to live. And that I respect more than anything else because it's the hardest thing to do. It's hard as a father to, when your kid says the F word in school, it's like, well, how many times have you heard me say it? My dad wasn't that way. He said, don't do it, but he didn't do it. So he was, I always joke about, his teachings and stuff. And it's like, it was like having Zig Ziglar in as a father, but it was true. He was always teaching, and he was he wasn't like, okay, now class kind of teaching. He would teach us a lot of things in life that he didn't, because he knew if he said, okay, now this is a lesson you want to learn, we wouldn't learn it. But if he showed us things, that it would make an impression. So anyways, that's what the brothers you go through life, keep this as your goal. Keep your eye upon the donut and not upon the hole. It can be taken in many ways, but mostly is keep your eye upon the good things in life. The cup is half full as opposed to half empty, and that's something that ties a lot to Thailand. Ha! See, I wonder where I was going with this. Um, I hear so many grumpy old men. It's not the way it used to be. Back 30 years ago, it was something back then. No, it's the way it is today. And today is what we have, okay? I think Thailand is a great place. Just like, high season, low season. It depends on perspective. That's all good or bad is your perspective and looking at it, okay? Good or high or low season, okay? Yeah, the weather's a little nicer. In high season, you have a little less rain. But in rainy season, August, September, prices are lower, okay? People complain, oh, it's not as fun because it's not popping like in the holidays in August, September. No, but it is, really, it's like you want to go to Disneyland on a day that the lines are 2 hours, 3 hours long for each ride, or do you want to go on the days you just walk right up and go on a ride? Exactly the same point. If you, whatever your thing that you do in Thailand, if you go to the bars, do you want to have a selection of bar girls to choose from, or do you want every single one of them being taken except for one that's a leftover for you? Okay, that's a bad way of putting it, but it's true. Prices come down of everything: hotels, food, entertainment. Okay, it all comes down in the off season. There's benefits to everything. You just have to look for them. Okay, Pattaya isn't as busy as it used to be 30 years ago, supposedly 20 years ago. I wasn't around, so I don't know. But for the old guys that say, oh, all these bars have gone, things have changed. Okay, new bars have opened, old bars have closed. Okay, things are a little busier back in the day than now. But you know what? When I go in August, September, I enjoy it not being busy, okay? I can walk down Beach Road and not have four guys trying to get a group discount from one of the girls across the walkway not moving while I'm trying to videotape, okay? It's ridiculous when it's busy, okay? It's not so much in August, September. Still a lot of people, still a lot of activity and fun, but it's different. It's a little more quiet, okay? So that is what all this is about. It's about being philosophical a little bit in your thinking. to where you look at the brighter side. You look at the happier side. Because in this world we live in, Jesus Christ, people are just, if it's not perfect, oh my God, it's not perfect. Oh my God, I'm triggered. Oh, I don't know if I can make it. Give me a damn break. It's like, whatever it is, find the silver lining in the cloud. That's like with ChatGPT did an excellent job on that one slide to where one of my father's quotations was, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And I just gave ChatGPT the idea, and I said, okay, make something. And it created a really insightful photo. I mean, it kind of told the story. But one of the things that I think with being a good dad is that no one appreciates it until you get so late in life you're about to check out. Because that's like me. I didn't realize what a great dad my dad was until I had a son. And I was thinking about the things that my dad taught me. And so there's a lot of that in this, okay? And that's like one time we were going on a fishing trip, and the ride was going to be about an hour and a half. And so my brother and I we're both smaller, like 5, 6 years old, I don't know. And we kept seeing these signs along the mountain roads, falling rock. It cracks me up to this day. And we kept, Dad, what's falling rock mean? And so instead of being like most dads, oh, shut up, you kids, go back to, go to sleep or something, and be quiet. My dad came up with the story of falling rock. And for 30, 40 minutes, he told the story about the Indian falling rock. And he just was making shit up. But he put the thought into it. It was a pretty good story. My brother and I were like, oh, really? And we were listening to the story of falling rock. And later in life, I mean, that didn't mean anything. I forgot all about it until one day I thought of that. And it's like, how many dads would just tell the kids to shut up? But my dad created the story of falling rock. And that's what he was. He was very, always in a good mood. Always. Matter of fact, his childhood nickname was Happy. He was always in a good mood. He had like a razor sharp wit and humor. He was a hilarious guy. But he was also he thought a lot. And so what this has to do with Thailand is quit being so negative. You're in one of the coolest places for men in the world. Okay, you have beautiful women, you have lust, you have love, you got it all. You can go play a round of golf, you can go on the beach, you can go to the islands. There's so many things you can do. And people look, they're all grumpy and it's like, be happy. You're in one of the coolest places in the world with beautiful women all around, with potential for, even for an old man like me, for love and finding a woman that, will be your partner. And there's so much potential, so much fun, and so many things to be had. And yet we, continue the Western, pursuit of perfection. Oh, this cheeseburger doesn't taste like it does at home. If you want a cheeseburger that tastes like at home, it's a little expensive, but go to McDonald's. It tastes the same. That was a strange experience. I had a cup of coffee and 2 double cheeseburgers one day, and it was like about a little more than it was back home. It's like, wow. But anyways, some of the thinkings of all of this, okay? I love when my dad used to tell me, he would talk about growing and learning. And he would say, as long as a man thinks of himself as green, he's growing. It's only when he considers himself grown that he begins to die. And when I wrote my first book, I put that as kind of the dedication to my dad, because it's so true. Men, when they're green and they think they have so much to learn, they're like sponges. They take in everything because they think they have so much to learn. And then all of a sudden they think they've learned it all and they quit learning. And that's when, it's not die like dead, But that's when their spirit dies because they think they know everything. They think there's nothing else to learn, and there's always stuff to learn. Okay, that's like this. This is a little odd for a travel video on falling in love in Thailand, but it is. Without the right attitude, how can you find someone to love the rest of your life and appreciate them and really, be happy together? You have to look on the bright side. Believe me, when you're living with a woman, you have to look on the bright side. Because if you're like always negative and, oh, she did this, and oh, she did that, especially a Thai lady, it's not easy. They like their sleep. And if you like breakfast in the morning, it's probably going to be more like lunch. Okay. But she's a beautiful woman. And she probably provides you with a lot of happiness that you probably wouldn't get from a Western woman. So there you go. That's some of the things. You have to always look on the bright side. The cup is always half full, not half empty. And when you're in Thailand, don't sit and complain about, oh, this, oh, that, oh, shit, he was good back in the day. Oh, the bar down there closed and all this stuff. So what? There's a lot of changes in Thailand. And with those changes, there's good and there's bad. A lot of new construction, a lot of new businesses are opening. It means things go up in price. Just like New York City, as they renovated the city and got rid of all the old slums and everything else and renovated them into nice new buildings that were beautiful, prices went up because there were no more slums. There were no more super cheap places. A guy with an old building right next to a guy with a new building sees the rents he's getting, so he goes up too. So it causes things to go up. But Thailand is still a very economical place to have a vacation. And one of the things I love about Thailand is it works so well. I go, and it's one of the few places I feel in Southeast Asia that I can walk out of a bar in a red light district or nightclub district, and in the middle of the street at midnight, and walk down the street, and I feel perfectly safe. Okay, there's activity going on. It's not that seedy kind of like thing that thump you in the head and take you behind the building and rob your stuff, but it's Thailand is a great place. So it is. You just have to have the right mindset. And the same thing with finding someone to love. You have to have the right mindset. You have to look forward to finding someone to love, not look at, oh my God, like me. I go on and on about gold digging and asking for money and all of that because it's irritating. Because I really, I want to find a woman to love. And it's irritating when someone keeps asking you for money and it's like, that's, she loves my wallet, not me. So, but you have to put it in this perspective. It's that way. You have to overlook that to find the women that aren't that way. So you have to keep looking. You have to keep looking on the brighter side. You have to keep pushing forward and looking for good stuff. You're looking for the things that will bring you happiness. So, and the Calvinism, I wanted to say that my father's name was Calvin, and it's a strange story. My father was the fifth Calvin my last name is Smith. He was the fifth Calvin in the line of Calvins. We didn't have the same middle name, so it wasn't the second, the third, the fourth, all that. They wanted it to just be, or a junior. They wanted it just to be Calvin Smith with a different middle name. So my grandfather was Calvin Frederick. My father was Calvin Norris. I'm Calvin Jeffrey. And then my son is Calvin Jared. So that's continued. So Calvinism there is a religion. My son told me, Dad, do you know that's a religion? When I put Calvinism, it was about his thinking, his teaching. It wasn't about the affiliation to any church. So it's just, he had a unique way. And like I said, it's very, I guess this is my way of saying thanks. He taught me a lot. So I wouldn't be the person I am now without his way. And there's so many things. I remember as a kid, I hated, because he was always looking at the bright side and drove me nuts. Because like sometimes you don't feel, especially when you're a kid, And we lived in San Joaquin Valley. It's hot in summer. And I remember we lived on a ranch. And anytime he would want to go out and do something, actually, it was a really hot day, he would sympathize and not really want to do it. But my mom, she was German, and she was like, yeah, 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 yeah. So he would, I got to go. And so he would, come on, guys, we got to go do the fences or do something with the cattle or whatever. And, it's like, it's hot. And he would try to come up with, positive things. It's like, in the San Joaquin Valley, they always talk about a dry heat. Like in Thailand, it's very humid. But in California, it's very dry. So it is a little easier to deal with because you can get in the shade. If you get in the shade, it's like really nice compared to in the sun when it's dry heat. When it's really humid, it kind of just follows you everywhere. Shade or whatever, it's hot. So he would always, say, "Oh, come on, guys, it's it's not that bad. It's nice, it's a dry heat." And it's like dry heat. It's like so is an oven, It's like it's not high humidity in there, but it still bakes you. It's like, oh, come on. And then if it was afternoon, he would say, "Oh, nice thing is there's a breeze that comes up in the afternoon, really cool, or cooling off." And he would talk about all the bright side. It's like, oh, great. Now the oven just turned into a convection oven to more effectively cook you. But we were typical kids. And it wasn't until we got older, it's like I really appreciated all that he tried to do with his optimism. So, anyways, so bring that optimism to Thailand. Bring that optimism to finding the love of your life. Look for the beauty that surrounds you instead of looking at the problems. When someone is on a balcony and says, "Good morning," return, "Good morning," with a big smile instead of, "Oh, good morning." Because it might be me up on the balcony because I love doing that when I'm there. Now I am planning, we're in July now. I'm planning on being in Thailand middle of August through September. If you have any questions about that, please email me. My email is at the beginning, at the end of the video. If you want information about my book, it's available at Amazon.com. Now, we are getting more subscribers, more comments on the videos, which is great. If you enjoy this, please like and subscribe and share it with a friend. If you think somebody else will enjoy it, send it to them. So, good luck. Try to be as happy as you can when you're in Thailand. And even when you're not, you'll find that it makes a big difference in your life. So, have a good afternoon and good luck.